Good morning, YouTube. This is another edition of Tool Shed Tuesday, and what I want to talk about this morning, it's pretty early right now, is I want to talk about beetle kill up here in Alaska. Over the last couple of years, they've just invaded the middle Alaskan range here and other parts of the state, but they've just absolutely devastated the spruce trees out here. You might remember last year I did a video on some beetle kill trees around the cabin here, and I took those down. Well, you started seeing signs that, a lot of the trees were starting to die. But I can tell you guys for absolute certainty this year that all around my property and in the surrounding areas, that we are probably 98% dead spruce trees. Just completely dead. Every spruce tree you see is just dead, except for the ones that are about 5 inches in diameter and smaller. So they have absolutely just devastated this entire region out here. And I've also seen other YouTubers up here in Alaska, Simple Living Alaska. Whenever they're out and about filming too, I'm always looking at the trees in the back of their videos and whatnot, and all the spruce trees there are dying as well. And these beetles have just absolutely destroyed it. But I guess what keeps me up at night is all the fires we have. Okay, every year up here in Alaska, there is always tons and tons and tons of fires going on up here. And last summer especially, it was so dry out here with no rain whatsoever, reaching temperatures of 90, 100 degrees for days on end. And it always just scares me because there has not been a major forest fire out in my region for many, many years. Even the old timers around here can't remember there being one. So the conditions are absolutely getting ripe for a forest fire to just come ripping through this region. And we've got 3 species of trees out here. We've got cottonwood trees, which are the largest trees out here. Biggest around. They're kind of a craggly tree. There's nothing we can really do with them. They're not good for burning. They're not good for building. So they're just there. Then we have spruce trees, which where I'm at are very plentiful. And then you have the we have the birch trees. And the birch is what we consider our hardwoods. Now, all the birch that I've seen in and around my property and in this region, they all seem to be doing very healthy. They're just very nice trees. They're all fine. It's the spruce trees that are absolutely devastated. And I'm telling you, when I say that they're 98% dead, that's just me guessing. But out here where I'm at, it is just like a brown forest. You look up into the trees and you see the snow all over the trees, and they're just brown. There's no green on them whatsoever. So, man, I pray to God that a fire doesn't come ripping through here this summer. We've got to start getting some rain out here, because compared to last summer, 90, 100 degree temperatures, I mean, this place is just on fire. So one of those things that kind of scares me. So a little bit later today, it is early in the morning right now, it's about 5:30, 6 o'clock. So in 4 or 5 hours, once the sun comes out, if it comes out, or once some light starts to hit, I'll take the camera out there and start showing you guys what I mean. And you'll see that every tree that I'm going to zoom in on, I mean every single spruce tree that I zoom in on is dead. And I was talking with a neighbor about a week ago, and we were talking about milling these trees up, because this is what we build with out here, spruce trees. So he was saying that structurally they're no good anymore. Now, I kind of have an argument against that. For me, it's just kind of hard to believe that, these big trees, because the beetle will come into the cambium layer of the tree. And on a spruce tree, if you want to kill it, all you have to do is just cut a small little ring all the way around it, around the bark, and you'll kill the tree, because that's how the tree feeds itself, through the sap. So these beetles get in there and they start boring around all in the place, and they just kill the whole tree. They don't bore into the wood, so I'm just having a hard time believing that this wood is not usable. Now, over the last couple of years, I've slowly watched this happen, but it has accelerated since last year, and especially this year. So, like I said, I have nothing but spruce trees out here, and it is just a perfect combination for a fire to just come ripping through here. And it will definitely have all the fuel it needs. So, being the winter we're having right now, with it being so much snow, and it's so hard to get around out here now, if you don't already have a packed trail, or even trying to pack a trail to get to these trees to start taking them down, to get them away from my cabin, create a larger buffer zone, it's just tough this year. So I'm going to have to get on it as soon as I can, but it's hard for me to believe that we can't use this lumber. Now, there are some pros and cons to having a dead tree standing versus one laying on the ground. As soon as you cut down a tree and it lays on the ground, it's going to start absorbing that moisture from the ground. The branches are only going to keep it elevated for so long. As soon as that tree touches the ground, it'll start pulling the moisture up. Rain, snow, all that just seeps into it. When you have a dead standing tree, that's better. It's not going to suck up all the moisture. Yeah, snow will stick onto the tree, and you'll get a little bit, but for the most part, you know, the tree is just drying out for you. And the amazing thing with these spruce trees compared to pine, I will say this: if you were to take a 10-foot, let's just say an 8-foot section, you know, of a good size tree, right? If you let a pine tree dry out for 2 years, about this big around, about 8-9 feet long, that thing still weighs hundreds and hundreds of pounds. A spruce tree, you cut it up into an 8-foot section, let it dry for 2 years, you can throw the thing up on your shoulder. And I've actually done it before. Makes you look a lot stronger and a lot more mountainous than you really are. So I've got one video many years ago of me walking past the camera with this 10-foot log. And I look back at that video and I'm like, man, look how, you know, how strong you are. But the truth is the stuff is almost like balsa wood after a couple of years. It's light, it's easy to move around, and it's what we build with out here. That's why in some videos you'll see guys building log cabins up in Alaska with spruce trees, and they're lifting these huge logs up on the, you know, the next layer up, and you're just like, how is he doing that without the aid of pulleys and winches and everything else? It's because it gets really light. So as long as the tree is still standing and drying out, I think that's great. So right now I kind of have a disagreement with one of my neighbors. I think that all these trees are still good, usable lumber. I may be completely wrong on this. But the trees I took down out of my front yard last year, I started poking into them with the axe at the butt of them where I cut them down, and they weren't punky at all. So it looked to me like it's all still really good usable lumber. And I've got about a 9-10 foot pile out in the yard, 40-50 trees stacked up ready to go. I cut them into 12-foot sections and stack them up out there, and I'm just ready to start building with them, start milling some lumber. So I sure hope my neighbor is wrong and I am right, but it's really going to stink this coming up when I start cutting these trees down and they're just punky or they're not usable. So I would hate to just have all that extra firewood, to be honest with you. But the trees have to come down. I have to get these trees off my cabin. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this portion of it right now. I will come back in about 3 or 4 hours when the light shows back up out here, because it is early. It's not getting light till about 9:25, 9:45, somewhere around in there. And even then, it's still kind of hard to film outside because it's overcast and cloudy. But as soon as the day wears on a little bit more, I'll start zooming in on some of these trees, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. They are just all dead unless they are 5 inches or smaller. So I'll pick back up with you guys later, and we'll go from there. Alrighty. Okay, everybody, it's much later in the day now, so I can finally have some light outside. Sorry that it's overcast, but I can't control Mother Nature, and I'm tired of waiting around. I want to kind of finish up this video. So about these trees and the beetle kill. I'm going to go ahead and try to zoom in on as many of these trees as I can for you, and I promise you, every single spruce tree out here is dead as a doornail. If it's 5 inches or smaller, it's good to go, but every spruce tree is dead except the little ones, and it kills me. So I'm going to zoom in on some of them, show you what it looks like, and then I'm going to walk over here to this one tree, and I'm going to show you kind of the damage of what a beetle kill does and how you can identify a beetle killed tree. Because on a spruce tree, the bark will start falling off of it. So I'm going to zoom in on some of these trees and just show you they're all dead. Those trees right there should be green, guys, and they're not. There's not 1 ounce of green on them. And it's sad because those right there are really big trees. And it doesn't matter which ones I point to, they're just all dead. Almost every single one of them. And these are all just right here in my yard. It kills me. No green on it whatsoever. And you can always tell, you know, that conical tip on all of them. They are just all dead, guys. And I promise you, if you go walking back through the woods, you'll see the same thing every single place you go. Even these little guys right over there. Kind of hard to see through the snow, but what you should be seeing is a bunch of green, and you're just not. So like I said, it doesn't matter where you go, they're just all dead. And even this one right over here, I'm going to go ahead and pick you guys up and take you this way. Sorry for the crunching snow, but I'll show you what beetle kill looks like up close. The bark will start to fall off like this. They get in there, they start eating the cambium layer of the tree, and then the bark falls off, and then all of a sudden you'll start to see these sap areas right here where the tree is just kind of bleeding out. And so these are just all in my front yard. And so even going right here, let me put the camera back down, just all of them are gone. Now, I will show you this. This whole group of trees right here is completely dead. And even that big boy right here. But let me show you this. See that guy right there? That little skinny one right there? That's what they're supposed to look like. They're supposed to be green on it. And that one has green branches all the way up. But then just 30 feet away in front of it, you have these trees that are just about the same size, and they're all dead. So it's like the only ones that are living are the ones that are 5 inches or smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video now, and I just hate the absolute devastation of these trees out here. One of the things that I loved and just drew me to Alaska were these evergreen spruce trees. I mean, this whole forest, this whole region that I'm in is just one large forest. And man, it was just beautiful. 6 years ago, it was thriving there. It was rare to find a beetle-killed tree out here. What you did find was, you know, the real old ones that were dead. You'd cut those down, use them for firewood or building materials. But about 6-7 years ago, this beetle just came in and has just devastated this entire region. So I pray to God that fire does not come and visit us during the summer, especially with the summers we've been having. I know a lot of you guys think warm weather is great, but up here in Alaska,
real hot, warm summers are bad news with all the fires we have up here. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and hope you guys like these videos. Please like, subscribe, share me. If you like them, give me the thumbs up. If you don't, give me the thumbs down. I wish all of you the best. Take care of each other. Treat each other with respect. Keep your boots dry. And signing off from remote Alaska. Have a great day, guys.